right, here we are. It's Michael McDowell and my good friend
D. Yoon. We're back.
And here we are for our second top 8 game. We've got Brandon Kading and Kelly Jernigan. That's how I pronounce it? Or is it Jernigan?
Jernigan? Sorry, Kelly.
Well, we're trying here. So Kelly's got an interesting list. Why don't you tell me about it?
I want to say it was Jernigan. Okay, so Kelly is flying an unconventional list. Everyone keep in mind this is before the wave with TLT came out. So Kelly was, as soon as Scum was released, he started flying 5 of these Y-Wings with Auto Blaster turret. And just really just tearing people up. And it kept evolving to the point where he dropped one and upgraded one of the ships all the way up to Caval with VI, so he's shooting first, and bombs as well for a little bit of control. It's a very unconventional squad, and it's sturdy, and as long as he can catch his opponents within range 1, just pushes through that unblockable damage.
And Brandon over here's got the IG Brandon Kading, the BC identical with Push the Limit. Not quite identical, actually. I take that back. One has Mangler Cannon.
Mangler Bravo to take advantage of range 1 through 3, and then HLC on Charlie. And Brandon, you know, I have to say, he's one of our fellow Minox squadron. And it always chagrins me to say this, but Brandon is one of those few players that, you know, I have such an ego, but I will say he is categorically a better player than I am, like definitively.
I'm sure he's blushing right now as we say this about other things, probably crying in the bathroom, but...
And Kelly is fantastic as well, and I feel bad for him that this is the matchup he drew in the top 8, because it's a wretched matchup for him, because Brandon can just hit and run at will, you know, staying well out of range 1 of those Auto Blaster turrets, and just keep hucking angry dice at those Y-Wings until they eventually just succumb. The approach is aggressive, though. Brandon decided more or less to joust well, we've already got the first crit applied in the first exchange of fire. So those cannons look like they're just going to overwhelm those Y-Wings. Is there anything in particular you wanted to talk about either of the squads?
Oh, I'm really excited about seismic charges and unhinged astromech. I know that you really pushed me not to use unhinged astromech, and I never could really be pleased with my Y-Wing swarms. But I do love unhinged astromech. I think it allows you to do a lot of interesting things.
Well, normally I feel like they're a wasted point on the Y-Wings, but in Kelly's squad, they're absolutely mandatory, because he needs to be able to K-turn and then a 3-bank or 3-forward or even 3-turn to try to catch up and close in order to apply those Auto Blaster turrets. So that's why they're absolutely mandatory in his squad. The seismic charges are interesting. Obviously on Caval, it's fantastic at his high PS. On the thugs, oh yeah, I forgot, we had long since dubbed this Thug Life, and I'm sure that's a common name wherever else this showed up in your various metas. The seismic charges, I was wondering, I'd asked Kelly like what those are for on the PS2s, but it's just to keep people guessing. And throughout the tournament, they got into people's head and just allowed Kelly to maneuver at will the way he wanted in order to leverage those Auto Blaster turrets into unblockable hits all over the place. Well, you want to jump to Brandon's squad in a bit?
Sure. Brandon is a very seasoned IG-88 robots player. He's flown it a lot since it immediately came out, and he just can't break himself away from it usually.
And with advanced sensors here, he went for the very deliberate and calculated self-bump to set up more angry shots. What I'm figuring is, since the first exchange went so well, he decided that he could take a ship off the board without taking too much pain. Oh no, so he is, yeah, setting up 2 shots.
Very aggressively flying here, particularly for against a squad with auto blaster turrets and also with bombs.
It is a calculated risk, but with advanced sensors, he could also see that no bombs were dropped. He'll be able to figure out something on the next turn to get his ships out of danger. So Brandon's squad, this was at a point when a lot of players were moving the Brobots up to skill 8 with veteran instincts to try and outbid each other on initiative. Which means also if you're giving up either push the limit or predator, you pretty much had to go fire control system as well in the system slot in order to maintain your offense. Brandon, he's such a phenomenal positioner that even if he is moving first against other robots, he just figured, he decided it doesn't matter. He still prefers the flexibility of advanced sensors, of being able to take an action and Segnor or K, or take a boost before moving. So he will always have actions at the ready, and he's such a slippery player, so creative with his boost repositioning, and the advanced sensors gives him a plethora of possible maneuvers.
He's also very accurate in knowing where he's going to go and where he's going to land. He likes to dance around the edge of the board, and I love anything that's dangerous, and so I'm definitely.
Oh, he will push. His EPT is apt.
All right, we've got one down.
Right.
Zap, zap, zap. So we've got at least one guy not shooting at us.
Right, so with the PS6, he figured he could take one off the board, and that's exactly what happened. I was about to say it's apt that his EPT is pushed the limit, because that's exactly what Brandon does every single match with these ships. He pushes them he will take those rigorous chances, being able to boost Segnors just right on the edge of asteroids, or right on the edges of the map, and occasionally he is so aggressive and so he's so confident in his ability that he's not risk averse. Occasionally he'll fly one off the board, but the crazy thing is, even then he'll just come back to get victory after victory. It's just absurd. So Kelly is going to have some shots here with Auto Blaster Turret, though. And
I think he actually was out of range.
On all of them.
Yeah.
Well, in either case, failed to connect. So as you can see here, it's just a real tough matchup for Kelly. He's so adept with the squad.
Is this a place where you would want to drop your bombs?
It's. I feel like maybe he needs to, just out of desperation, so that Brandon has something to think about. He'll have to maybe boost to reposition to get out of. Well, you know what? Short answer, yes, but long analysis, it just won't matter. I mean, Brandon can take a couple of shields of beating here. And
well, I mean, but you do have those seismic charges to take shields down. It's not just to wait for that mind game.
Well, the big thing here is, from Brandon's perspective, right now, his 4 shield and 4 hull on each of his Brobots are a resource to be spent in just hammering those Y-wings as hard as possible, and then he'll be able to just jet them out of there if one of them gets into trouble. And in such close quarters, too, if Kelly drops one of those seismics, he'll probably nail himself as well. So it's all to Brandon's advantage here. So that's I'm making assumptions as to Brandon's state of mind, but I've played with him sufficiently where I'm sure he's just he sees the advantage of how much health he has, and the fact that he's already removed one Syndicate Thug off the board. So Kelly's just down to 3 ships at this point, and why not just leverage all of that health into just press that advantage into taking more Y-wings off the board up close.
You got an action because I gave it to him. But he doesn't go first. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just too many advantages on Brandon's end.
Everybody's inside arc, so we don't get
Even if he does lose all those shields, the Y-Wings aren't able to push crits through with those auto blaster turrets.
Yes, well, and also Brandon is playing he's playing a bump game, which is an interesting strategy.
Well, it's something you can do when you're bringing advanced sensors to the fight.
2 games in a row.
You can see that he still has actions regardless, and will get quality shots. At range 1. And on top of that, he's got dice advantage.
Where's this coming from?
Alright, so hit crit. Hits. Oh my god, hit.
Is that Cavill is taking a beating right now? Oh yeah, brutal.
Didn't get to hear what the crit was, but it is not looking good.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
I take it. That's another trigger. That's my fuse shot.
It was really unfortunate Kelly didn't draw someone else in the top 8, because this is probably his worst possible matchup. I wish we had the tournament score sheets in front of us, because I do think Kelly had. I'm trying to remember his record. Well, now that I think about it, Brandon was the #1 seed coming out of the Swiss, so Kelly must have been the number 8. So kudos to him for flying such an unconventional squad.
And flying it well.
And flying it exceptionally well. Right, just taking people by surprise by something just off the walls, like just totally unconventional.
We got a little breeze flying through our studio here. Just please stand by.
He's going to target block. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
And I'm always fascinated by Brandon's dial selection. He has so many options with being able to do those self bumps he's been doing in this game, or advanced sensors boost, K-turns and Segnors. I was really hoping for a rematch with Brandon in this tournament, because the first time we had played with these so at the Shuffle and Cut, same venue, Store Championship, we had played more or less the same squads we brought to this regional, and he spanked me so definitively, it was ridiculous. Like he on turn 2, he had managed to send both of his robots completely across the board, facing back the other way, and blocked all of my Whisper's decloaks. Now, if you, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but if that puts into context how imaginative and prescient Brandon is with his movements. This match probably wasn't the best showcase for what he can do with these robots, because
he was a long-time Phantom player, and he transitioned from playing Phantom almost directly into playing robots.
Right, he's always about selecting the ships that have the highest possible ceiling of difficulty and reward. So that's why he's running the advanced sensors and push the limit. When I play robots, I personally do prefer. I basically adapted Brandon's squad, except I swapped out PTL for Predator. I didn't like the extra stress, and for the Bravo rehits, I just want because I play more aggressively than Brandon as well. If let's say Brandon had been flying against say 4BZ, like this is not the strategy you would have seen from him. He would have been doing a lot of hit and running kind of action. And there goes Cavill.
Cavill is out.
It didn't take much.
It doesn't take a lot when you only have one Agility die.
And it appears that dice have been on Brandon's side to boot. On top of all
He's
of
got
that,
4 hits with the focus spend.
so we have got the combination of an amazing player running the perfect squad to take on Kelly with just superlative dice, and it's just unfortunately a one-sided match. I remember talking to Kelly after this match, and he was just so what's the word? Is it nonplussed? Like,
Yeah, I could say that.
he just didn't know what he could have done differently, and I really didn't have too much suggestion because for most of the day, he was putting people on their toes and confusing people and taking advantage of his auto blaster turrets for. Hey, okay, so we finally got 2 hits.
He's doing 2 hits like previously and 2 hits again.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to focus fire on a single ship, so he doesn't even have that maybe outside puncher's chance of burning something down.
He is
Here
gonna use
he
the
goes,
bombs.
right? He's got to gamble and pray before it's too late.
Use that 3 turn. Get out of there. Right on. Looks like he is on. He is indeed on a debris field.
So as we await the slow demise of these Y-wings, maybe we can discuss these squads moving forward into the meta as well. On our previous commentary, we talked about how big ships now suffer from the new MOV rule. And that sort of applies to these aggressors as well. If they lose 4 shields, right, they're losing roughly half their points, but typically that amounts to maybe 24 or 25 points tops.
Yeah, which is still an incredible amount. I mean, if you got that on both of them, that's half your squad right there. And it doesn't take long to burn down 8 points. And if the 8 points is going to give you 50 points of MOV, then it really makes robots a liability, in my opinion.
Well, I'm curious, again, if people will continue to play them at a very high level because of that. On the other hand, though, they're so elusive. As long as you keep both of them alive, you still have a very good chance of getting full wins on people. Like it's not like when you're flying a fat saucer and you lose half those points and then you can't finish off an ace.
Yeah.
And you lose by a modified margin.
But I mean, it often is if you lose one of your robots, then you're almost done in this game. It's very difficult to come back.
It depends at what point you lose it.
It definitely does. I mean, it depends. It's usually if it turns from maybe 2-on-2 to 2v1, whereas your opponent has 2 ships or more, and you have 1 robot left. You really are under the gun because it's very difficult to chase. Well, obviously impossible to chase 2 ships if they're flown apart.
Sure enough. Yeah, the strength of aggressors, when you fly them, you always want to get them out of trouble. You just set up shots, go on a strafing run, pull them out of danger if they're getting close to exploding.
He looks like he's going to land right on both bombs.
But really, at this point in the
he's
match,
just going to absorb it.
Yeah.
Oh no, he did a pre. That was a pre-boost. Using advanced sensors to boost, so it looks like he'll be hit with just 1, possibly 2 bombs.
The closer one, yes.
Definitely 2.
That's the it's okay that I'm better. So I'll just
So definitely taking both bombs.
I also wonder, with the new wave having come out since this regional, if Kelly's squad continues to be viable. I mean, obviously you've got everyone and their mom playing 4 Y-wings with twin laser turrets. How does this stack up in that sort of environment?
You know, I think it's it's interesting because I think it might be even better. I think it might do really well with the unhinged astromech and the auto blaster turret because twin laser turrets, as we all know, cannot shoot at range 1. And so if you can get them at range 1, you're going to be obviously in the life of Riley. And then on top of that, you know, you do have the seismic charges to discourage your opponent from following you. I mean, obviously with 24, is it 24? Yes, 24 hit points. Is that right? Am I doing my math correctly
What has
here?
24?
Four Y-Wings with 24.
32.
32? Jesus Christ, I suck. Okay, so with 32 hit points, obviously 4 is not a very high amount. You know, it's an 8.
If anyone wants to mess around with this, like I'm a big fan of Cavill. Recently, in our home store, in Minox Squadron's home store, we had a modified escalation lead, and my opening was well, the crux of my squad was Cavill. So I was running Veteran Instincts, of course, to bring up to 9, Auto Blaster Turret, and I owe a lot to Kelly for just even the idea of it. And I also went with Engine Upgrade just to shove him up into range 1, and it was a ton of fun. Obviously, you can't modify those dice after boosting, but so you're relying a little bit on the luck of the roll, but considering they're unblockable hits, it ended up being a ton of fun. On top of that, I decided to really screw around and run the Genius Astromech.
Oh, fun.
So I could drop seismics and then boost out of the explosion radius. Oh, so I didn't clarify that. So what you do is you pull your maneuver, then you can drop the seismic bomb or proton, and then boost out of its blast radius. It was a ton of silly fun, and maybe you could find a way to run it competitively. I think Kelly's squad would still work in the current environment, and I think maybe once it's difficult to fly because getting those range 1 shots, you know, you need to set up kill boxes with the Y-wings and trap, pincer, especially the high value, you know, higher PS repositioning ships like say a Soontir. But once you catch them, you know, all those all of those tokens and turtling up just to no avail, since you can push those hits through unmolested.
So Brandon's got another one down.
Yeah, he's just going to methodically just erase these thugs now. And down to the last one.
I'll spend the target lock. Yeah, I'm sure you will miss this. Yeah.
I kind of wish we had some people here to ask questions. There's really not much more to say about this matchup here.
We want to spend this moment to thank our creator and sponsor and overall godfather, Mr. Max, who is always putting together these wonderful videos.
The inestimable Mr. Gringold, I believe you referred to him.
Yes, it's something like that, Gringold. He's a wonderful man. He loves Apple products, and
just look at his avatar. He is a specimen.
Beautiful specimen of a man, and you know, he really spends a lot of time supporting the SoCal X-Wing community, whether it's through setting up the SoCal Open in collaboration with Glenn, or
Mr. Glenn Smallman, yes.
Or videotaping all of the different events, and also helping organize. I believe it's where's the place in La Habra? What's the name of that?
You're looking at it. Oh, it's not there. A Shuffle and Cut.
Shuffle and Cut. Yes, thank you.
Every time I'm there,
he's always organizing a night there. It's really he's a wonderful guy.
It's a fantastic store as well. They have tons of playing room, and I've never had anything short of a wonderful experience gaming there.
And we also want to give a shout out to Addie's Games. They held our regional. It was wonderful. It was fun. It was well run. It was clean. Smelled nice in the store.
Yeah, it was a zoo.
I couldn't.
But a very well run tournament.
and a wonderfully stocked store, and a beautiful store at that.
All right, so I'm just going to keep plugging stuff then. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I am the Mistakes Were Made webcomic guy. So direman.com is where you can find just general nerdage webcomics. If you want to hear more of us talking, we have Minox Squadron just recently kicked up a podcast. We got to have you on there, Michael.
Oh, I'd love to be there.
Don't have a link handy, but I'm sure if you Google Minox Squadron podcast, there can't be too many of those out there.
Do you think that Kelly will be able to take one of these down?
I do not, but he's making a valiant effort. Oh.
I think he was stressed and he was unable to.
Aha. Hence the lack of a segment.
Yes. So again, here we are at Ease Games in the past, also in the future. It's very late at night, and also 4 in the afternoon.
Oh, so this event started registration about 8:30-ish in the morning.
Yeah.
And by the time it ended, holy cow, it was pushing 2.
Well, we had done yes, that's 2 in the AM.
8 a.m. Yes. I faded hard towards the end. I don't like to refer to middle age. I hate thinking that I'm now on the wrong side of old. I like to call it halftime, but yeah, towards those wee hours, I was starting to see things, and the fact that both Kelly and Brandon were playing at such a high level this deep into the night is a testament to both their skill
and drive.
And this is just playing at the string at this point. I'm just waiting for those aggressors to flip back around and lay the final shots. If Kelly did, if he had the luck to draw a different opponent, we would have seen a lot more interesting maneuvering and jockeying in terms of how to apply those auto blaster turrets. I faced him during the Swiss in the Store Championship when he was flying that same squad, and it was pretty hairy trying to keep Suntir from being pincered. He did manage to trap Suntir, and I only got him out of there out of no small amount of luck. But unfortunately, the Brobots with their huge arcs and large sweeping maneuvers, it was just the worst nightmare match. I suppose Kelly would have had a rough time of it because another player, a superb player, Gordon McDowell, that I faced off with in my top 8 match, was also flying dual aggressors.
Which aren't really the article he wrote.
It would have been interesting if Kelly had drawn, if you watched the previous match, the 8.1, if Kelly had drawn, let's say, Alexander Noble's squad.
Yeah, that would have been a much more intriguing match.
That would have been fascinating, because then Whisper would have had to do a lot of dancing to stay out of the way of those unblockable shots.
He's landed on a debris field. I love the debris fields. I really am a huge fan of that less of a chance of hurting myself.
I see you are unafraid of obstacles then.
No, definitely. I don't know what that means, actually. No, definitely.
Well, if you enjoy flying towards them and into them and through them with impunity, well then you don't want to bring solid asteroids. You want to bring those debris.
All right, we've got a little bit here. And that's the game right there. Thank you for joining us, and have a lovely evening, noon, or morning.
Life.
Thank you.